you please hear my prayer for this land? Oh, won't you please hear my prayer for this land? And you know that I'm ready to do my part. I'm just standing by waiting for that wave to start. Well, now only the moon, it can turn the tide. You know that only the moon can turn the tide. So I kneel and I pray at the ocean side. And I watch for that wave, that great green wave to rise. There's a sparkle of hope in every eye. Yes, there's a sparkle of hope in every eye. And when those eyes sparkle at the same time, that's the time when that wave of love will rise. Won't you please hear my prayer for this land? Won't you please hear my prayer for this land? Won't you please hear my prayer? Good evening, everyone. My name is Dana Lyons, and that song is called Prayer for This Land. And that song was inspired by my dear friend and mentor and fellow troubadour and songwriter John Seed from Australia. And I met John Seed at a environmental gathering in the Grand Canyon. A bunch of us were gathering there to camp and have fun and try to figure out how to stop a uranium mine on the north rim of the Grand Canyon. But I would sing around the campfire with John Seed and other people, and and we had such a great time, and we really hit it off. And one day John says, "Hey, mate, you ought to come tour with me in Australia." Mate, that's an Australian word. If you study Australian, you'll learn that. And I said, "Yeah." "Yeah, when?" "Let's do it." And he says, "How about next year?" So I went, and we did a month-long tour in Australia. That was my first time in Australia, and a month-long tour in New Zealand to raise money for efforts to save the rainforest all over the world. And I was so excited. Took the big airplane. Takes forever to get to Australia from Seattle. And we landed. I'm so excited. And, I get on this train. I took the train from Sydney up to Lismore, which is another 12 hours. And I saw my first kangaroos from the train, and it was wild. I was so excited. Well, by the time I finally got to meet John Seed there, I was extremely tired. I was pretty jet lagged, and he took one look at me and he goes, "Mate, you should just go straight down to the ocean and take a swim, lie down on the beach, reconnect with the earth, ground." And I was like, "Great." And he threw me the keys to his van. It was an old van. And I went out to the van, and the steering wheel was on the incorrect side of the van, and I was like, is this an intelligent thing to do? To drive on the wrong side of the road after you haven't slept for 30 hours. But the thought of that beach sounded really nice, so I got in the van and I fired it up, and it was a shift, and oh man, I'm cruising down the road and I'm staying on the correct side of the road. I was very proud of myself, and it was just dirt roads down to the beach, so I didn't have to deal with any traffic, I think, at all. I stopped stopped the van where the parking spot was, where John Seed said, and saw the path, and I hop out of the van and I got my Tevas on, my bathing suit, got my towel, got my sunscreen, because I'm coming from the northern hemisphere where it's winter. I take 2 steps, and I feel this enormous pain in my foot, just above the foot, right around the ankle area. And it was huge. It was like the equivalent of maybe 6.5 bee stings at once. And I was like, oh my God. And I looked down and I didn't see anything. I'm like, I see this swelling red spot on my foot, and I feel this enormous pain in my foot and radiating through my body. And I'm thinking, oh my God. I had read about Australia. Australia has, 9 of the 10 most dangerous snakes, poisonous snakes. There's so many things in Australia that can kill you. I've been applying to the Australia Chamber of Commerce to try to do ads for Australia. I'm not sure why they don't hire me. But anyway, this pain is radiating up my leg, and I'm looking down, and it is swelling up, and it is red. And I'm like, I have no idea what just bit me. I don't know if it was an insect. I don't see snake bites. I don't think it was a snake. I would have seen the snake, wouldn't I? And I'm really overtired, and I'm jet lagged, and I'm panicking. I'm like, This would be a serious bummer if I died within, the first hour of arriving at John's. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? Think, Dana, think. Like, I don't want to drive, because I could pass out. I could pass out in the van. The van, I can't really drive. I'm on the wrong side of the road. And I look around, and there's this house, like, not too far away. And I walk up this dirt road, and I walk up this long driveway, and I'm like, oh, man, I hope these people are nice. And I knock on the door, and I said, I am really sorry to bother you, but I just arrived in Australia. This is my first time in Australia. I just got here. I came down to go swim at the beach. I stepped out of the van and I had this enormous pain and my foot swelling up. Do you have any idea what this is? Oh, mate, it's a jumping ant. Oh, it's nothing. You'll feel pain for a few hours and, you'll itch for about 2 weeks, but it's nothing. It's nothing, mate. Welcome to Australia. I got bit by several other species of ants while I was there and met numerous snakes. And I'll save those stories for another evening. But the story of I get so wound up thinking about snakes and ants, I forget about the song I just sang. But yes, the prayer for this land. Not only was I excited to see Australia and see all the different animals. There's like another planet over there, just different birds and kangaroos and wallabies and all kinds of crazy animals if you're from North America. But John Seed is a great organizer. And when we met at the Grand Canyon, he showed a video of the Australians, blockading to stop this huge dam in Tasmania. Spacing out that name. If anyone knows which dams we're talking about, I think I saw Terry's up there. If any of the Australians are there, remind me of the name of the band. I almost had it tip of the tongue. John Seed was there. Bob Brown, former Australian senator, was there. A lot of people I met over the years. I think Benny was down there. But they stopped this road with thousands and thousands and thousands of people doing nonviolent civil disobedience, and I think Senator Bob Brown they dug a huge pit in this dirt road and they buried him up to his neck. So if the bulldozer was going to go through, it was going to have to take off his head. And there was people doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And then John showed us another video about the fight to stop the road up in the Daintree rainforest up in the northeast part of the country. And I was like, wow, these Australians are badass. I gotta meet these folks and see what they're up to. But I wanted to go see. I had two goals for this tour. I wanted to just see Australia and take it in, and I wanted to ask John Seed one question, because he was, one of, if not, one of the most impressive organizers I had ever met. He had started 400 rainforest action networks all around the world. It was crazy. Like everywhere we do a show, he'd say, well, folks, is there a rainforest action network group in town? And some places they would say yes, and some places they say no. If they said no, he goes, well, now there is, and you're it. And he'd organize. It was really fantastic. But I wanted to ask John one question. It was a big question. And John's a busy guy, and, I didn't want to take up, he's always working. That's why he got so much done. And so I was waiting for the right time. I wanted to be alone. I wanted to be a nice place. Then all of a sudden, I don't know, we're hanging out. I don't know, I think overlooking some beach, or maybe we were down at some rocks or something. And I said, John, what is your strategy? You're a great organizer. You've saved tremendous amounts of rainforest. What is your strategy for saving the earth? That was the question I asked him. I was 28 at the time, and I'm not sure I would ask someone that same question now, maybe. And he just kind of looked at me, and he goes, oh, mate, the earth is much too complicated, much too complex an organism to have a strategy to save her. It's, he said, probably the best thing we can do is to take your surfboard, polish it up, and pray for that great green wave. And one person can't create a wave. Wave meaning, a massive rise of humanity to come up and protect Mother Earth. One person, you can't push a button, you can't carry a sign, you can't sing a song and just create a giant wave. He goes, the waves happen in a natural, they just happen. And one day, he goes, I recommend that you pray for the wave, polish your surfboard, and if that wave arrives, you be ready to jump on that wave. So I took the surfboard to be symbolic of my skills, that each of us should take our skills, practice them, be as good at whatever we're good at, whatever we like to do, be as good as what we can do as possible. And then should the moment come when we're rolling, woo, take off. So that's where that song came from. So thank you, John. And thank you, Australia. And thank you to the jumping ants, because when I walk around with sandals in Australia, I pay attention where I am stepping. Well, let's see. My name is Dana Lyons. Good evening. It is January 2nd, 2022. That was the first time I've ever said that. 2022. A new year. Whatever that means. For me, the years kind of fold around the solstices and equinox, but hey, if the whole world wants to call January 1st the new year, that's cool. It's the one holiday we sort of all share. January 2nd is my grandmother's birthday. My grandmother, Esther. Happy birthday, Mama. She's moved to the great beyond now, but if she's got Facebook, I'm sure she's watching. But let's see. I wanted to, there's quite a few people have made notes. I'm going to read those after I sing the tree and say hello to folks. Let's see. Most of the time, I just am in the mood to sing. And today was one of those days, and I just really wanted to sing a couple songs. And that's why I'm here. And so there's usually almost no notice about these. So I appreciate those of you who happen to be on Facebook or YouTube to key in. Once in a while, I plan one ahead, and I actually have one planned ahead for this week on this Thursday, January. Oh God, I don't even know which day it is, but it's this Thursday, January 6th, maybe. If someone has a calendar in front of them, they can type into this little screen there what date Thursday is. But Thursday at 7 p.m., I'm going to sing Our State is a Dump Site, and the title of my first EP, and The Salmon Come Home. And basically it's going to be a celebration, a rally to protect the Columbia River and the Snake River and the salmon and the orca. And we're going to talk about a lovely little nonprofit group called Heart of America Northwest. My friend Jerry Paulette, who also happens to be a state representative, he's been leading that group. They're leading the cleanup of Hanford Nuclear Dump in Washington State, largest nuclear dump in the United States, perhaps the world. Anyway, there's a tank of nuclear waste leaking. We're going to need your help. I'm going to be singing on Thursday. Rally us all to write letters to our governor here in Washington State. So that's Thursday. And if you want to, also I'm slowly getting organized. Oh yes. If you want to hear about these shows, you can join my email list. I'm put up a little banner there, fancy banner on the screen at cowswithguns.com. You can like my Facebook music page, facebook.com/Dana Lyons, or you can subscribe at my YouTube page, which is youtube.com/cowswithgunsguy. So that's a little bit of information there. But it is, it's getting on toward bedtime in much of North America and South America. And so I wanted to sing you two gentle songs and tell you a couple stories. But now I'll sing The Tree, and I'll tell you a little story on the backside of that. Take off my fancy banner so we can focus on the sacred song at hand. Okay, and then at the end I'll read your comments. I can see that they're happening on the screen, but I can't read them without my glasses, which is really helpful, actually, because otherwise I'd be distracted and nervous. So now I can just blissfully look at this tiny green dot on my computer and sing to you. There's a river flowing near me, and I've watched that river change and grow. For 800 years I have lived here, through the wind, the fire, and the snow. I see salmon return every summer, and I've watched young owls learn to fly. I have felt the claws of the grizzly, and I have heard the lone wolf's cry. I have seen great glaciers melting, and I've met lightning eye to eye. But now I hear bulldozers coming, and I know that I am soon to die. Who will house the owl? And who will hold that river shore? And who will take a refuge in my shadow when my shadow falls no more? Oh, But now I hear children running and circling my trunk, hands soft and strong. People are holding to my branches, so the wind may always carry my song. My friend, the late Chet Escade in Wichita, his English name was Kenny Cooper, Lummi Indian here in the Bellingham area. He was a spiritual leader at Lummi, and he taught me one of the great lessons, one of the two most important music and song lessons I've had in my life. And he loved the song The Tree, and he would always request it. And when we were recording my Turn to the Wrench album, Chet Escade played a flute song that he had written called Cry of the Forest. That's on that album. And I got to be in the room while he recorded it. We were in the recording room, and then there's the big glass window, and then the engineers on the far side, and he was putting everything he had into it, and he was breathing, huge breathing, and sweating, and concentration. He plays this spectacular song, one take. And afterwards I said, wow, you were 100% into that song. And he said to me, Dana, all songs are prayers. He says, even Cows with Guns is a prayer. He said that. It made me laugh. And he said, and when you're praying, you need to put 100% into it. You have to put 100%, every ounce of your soul focused on that. And you need to do that when you're singing The Tree. You need to do that when you're singing Cows with Guns. You need to do that when you're singing anything. And that really has helped me through the years because, sometimes I'm performing and I get distracted. I see someone I know, something happens, and my mind just starts to wander. And then when you think about it, why is my mind wandering when I'm singing this song, this beautiful song, whatever song it happens to be? And then when I remember that, I remember what Chet Escade said, and it brings me right back in. But The Tree, it's quote unquote written by me. It's, copyright Dana Lyons or whatever. But it's really not my song. It came through a tree. I was injured landscaping and hurt my back turning cow manure into a lawn. How do you like that? What a way to hurt your back. And in the rain, and it was heavy, and I was younger and not being intelligent, and making intelligent use of my back. I'm sure some of you know what I mean. Hopefully you don't. But anyway, I hurt my back, and I said, well, I can't work. I'm in pain. If I'm going to be in pain, I might as well go be out in pain in the wilderness. So I drove out to the Olympic Peninsula and out to the rainforest and went up the Quinault River near the Gray Wolf campground. And I was the only one there. I think it was March or April, but nobody was there. It was cold. It was beautiful. And I couldn't really sit. It was very hard to drive. But I could stand, I could walk, I could lie down. But I spent a lot of time standing and lying down by this giant, what I thought was 800-year-old tree. And I would read, I would sing, I would write in my journal, and then I'd go for a little walk, hike up the valley. And on the fourth day, this song, The Tree, comes tumbling out of me in 1 hour, except for the last verse, which I added later when the children's book came out in 2001. And I looked up at the tree and I thought, this must be your song, But no one had ever suggested to me that a tree had a song. No one ever said that in school. No one ever said that in place of worship. No one had ever talked about it. I never read that. But I just had this feeling. I'm like, wow, next to the tree, the song came out. Maybe it's the tree, tree song. And I sang it for a long time, traveled around, mostly around Washington State, Western Washington, Eastern Washington. I remember singing in Spokane and saying, I think I played Spokane shortly after I wrote the song. I go, yeah, I wrote this song. It's about the tree. I spent 4 days next to the tree. It came out. I think it's the tree song. Kept saying, I think it's the tree song. Then I was on a ferry boat out to Orcas Island, and my pal Kurt Rousseau runs into me on the ferry. He says, Dana, you coming to the celebration? I said, what celebration? He said, wow, they've been trying to build a condominium complex, put in 80 or so condominiums on Madrona Point right next to East Sound. And Madrona Point is the site of an ancient Lummi burial ground. And they've been fighting to protect the burial ground and stop the development and protect the land for 10 years. And after 10 years of the Lummi people fighting and the people on Orcas fighting, they won. And the United States Congress appropriated $2 million to buy the land and give it back to the Lummi Indians. How about that? The U.S. government buying land and giving it back to the Indians. I like that. And he said, yeah, we're having a big celebration. Lummi Nation's here. Everybody from Orcas is here. It's at the Oddfellows Hall. He says, you should come. I said, I'll come. So I got there, and oh my God, it was packed, and there's kids running around, and there's food, endless tables of food. There's a big potlatch. If you're not familiar with that word, that's a Native American word where you're just giving away food and presents, and oh my God, so there's just endless food. There's fried bread, there's smoked salmon, there's salmon off the fire, there's macaroni salad, there's Jell-O, there's everything you're going to find at a potlatch. Then if you've been to a potlatch or a powwow, you know that I'm being accurate. And so I'm loading up my plate, and it's fun, exciting. And Kurt comes up to me and says, hey, Dana, the chief wants you to sing The Tree. And I'm like, I could do that, but The Tree is kind of a somber song, and it's kind of a sad song. And this is such a celebration, and there's kids running around, and you really think it's going to work here? And Kurt goes, the chief wants to hear The Tree. I'm like, okay, we'll play The Tree. So I get up and I play the song, and the place just was silent. It was really amazing because there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, maybe over 1,000. I have no idea, but it was, whew. And something very interesting happened while I was playing the song. I noticed that the Lummi elders, were kind of on the edge of their chairs, like really rapt, listening to the song. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Seems like they like the song. So I finish it, and people like it, and the celebration continues. And I walk over to the chief and a couple of the elders, and the chief says to me, where'd you get that song? And I said, oh, well, I hurt myself landscaping. I went out to the Olympic Peninsula, spent 4 days next to this giant Douglas fir tree, and at the end of the 4 days, the song came out, and then, I looked at the tree. I said, "Hey, I think this is your song." And the chief says, "Well, it is." And I'm like, "Oh?" He goes, "Yeah, that's the tree's song. I recognize the tune." I'm like, "Tell me." Tell me. He goes, "Yeah." And he explained to me that the Lummi people, the Salish people, indeed, many of the native peoples all the way from Santa Cruz up onto Alaska, get a lot of their songs from trees, that each tree has its own song. And the people will go out and spend 3 or 4 days and fast and pray and listen to the tree. And at some time in there, they will hear the tree's song, and they'll put it with the drums and or sing it and play it on the flute. And he goes, "Yeah, you inadvertently did the ceremony next to that tree, and you heard the tree's song, and that's it. So nice work." Well, that changed my vision of reality. That changed my view of the world, because I had never really thought about it. But I knew when he was saying it that it was true. I knew it was true at the time. I just didn't have any context. The culture I was raised in didn't think that way, didn't talk that way. But wow, so now if I'm paying attention, it takes quite a while to get through the forest, because, saying hi to the different trees. And actually, there's a second tree I spent an entire day. It was only one day, but I got a song from that tree too. Also a Douglas fir tree down south of Olympia, the Gifford Pinchot Forest. But that's the story of the tree. And now what I'll do is I'll take a look at some of the messages and say hello, and also remind you where you can learn about these when I'm in the mood. I try to sing. I try to do pretty full vocal warm up at least every 2 or 3 days, because it's bizarre. During the pandemic, I've had one in-person performance. That was an outdoor house concert, lovely home house concert in Seattle in September. One in the last 2 years. Well, until the pandemic, I never rehearsed, really. We used to joke with Bill Oliver and Glenn Walduck, why practice when you can perform? But when you're singing almost every night, you just stay in shape. So this is the first time I've actually had to be disciplined about keeping my voice in shape. But some days when I'm singing, like today, when I'm warmed up, I'm like, I'm just in the mood to sing and say hi to some friends. And I know a lot of us are trapped or semi-trapped, and we're all challenged one way or another right now. But this is a bedtime story, so we're not going to talk about the challenges. We're here to sing, tell stories. But this is my way to just enjoy singing a few songs and share them with you. But oftentimes I decide like 2 hours ahead of time. So once in a while, like my show for Thursday, I'll put that on my web calendar. So if you go to cowswithguns.com, and you'll see the little show button, or I think it's cowswithguns/show or something like that. That's when you can see my last minute announcements. Like if I'm going to be singing in 2 hours, I'll slap it up there. But if you want, time for the glasses, back to the banners. But once in a while, when I'm actually organized and thinking ahead, I will be announcing shows ahead of time. And you can find out by joining my email list at cowswithguns.com, also a place where you can look at the calendar. My music page, facebook.com/Dana Lyons, or the youtube.com at cowswithgunsguy. Fancy banner up there if you want to find out when I'm doing my thing. So, let's see. I want to say hello to folks before we say goodnight here. Let's go up to the comments. Oh, yeah, we got a lot of comments. Okay. Oh my goodness. This could go on all night. There's Terry. There's Terry from up there in New South Wales in Northern River. Good to see you, Terry. Those are amazing flowers there in your picture. There's Jean. Jean, I'm so glad you could join us. And Manuela is watching from Mexico. Wow, that's totally cool. That's totally cool. I'm glad you could be here. I have no idea what time it is there. That's pretty late, probably Mexico. It's further east, I think, if I have that correct, unless you're down in the Baja. There's Ella. Okay, good to see you, Ella. Glad you could join us here. Aloha Kalasara from Kauai. Thanks for joining. And there's Ryan. And he's asking me some things, but I'm not sure what they mean. I'm going to have to read that later, Ryan, and have a better look. Imam, you're back. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I've been singing June is a-Comin' a lot also. And that's been a real pleasure, especially lately. I'm glad you're enjoying that. Dusty Bowman. Okay. I will check out Dusty. Ryan. Okay. There's Hope. You missed the intro. Oh, there was no intro. I just started with Prayer for This Land. The great thing about going live, unplanned, with no one having any expectations is I can do whatever I want. I can okay, I'm not in the mood for an intro tonight. I just want to sing the song. I want to rock out on the intro. Thank you, Hope. Oh, there's Ya. 6.5 bee stings. Ya understands that. He's in Kauai. He's a beekeeper and honeymaker. And Ya, I just ran out of your all honey. I mean, I've been nursing that the entire pandemic. We're going to have to figure out a way. I don't know if you have to figure out a way to say it to safely, really well pack some more Kauai honey and get some over here, because I'm not sure when I'm going to get your way. I gotta wait till it's very safe. And that's, you saw some of Ya's bagels in his picture there. I had the honor of tasting bagels when Ya was first developing the bagels for his company, and I just happened to be there at that right time. And I happened to be a New York Jew, so I had all the qualifications necessary for that. Taking a look at those bagels. So yeah, if you go to Kauai, you got to get some of Ya's bagels. There's Jerry. I got to put this one up. As Hazel Wolf would have said, there are a lot of snakes that need watching over here. Not just the poisonous ones in Australia. Most of ours are found inside Capitol buildings. That is very funny. And Jerry is a state legislator in Olympia. He's here in Washington State. So Jerry, I imagine whenever you're in session, you got to be wearing your tall, very thick, thick boots to protect yourself from snake bite. That's funny. Hazel Wolf was a very close friend of mine. We met when I was 25 and she was 86, and we spent a lot of time together. And Hazel, like John Seed, another brilliant organizer, she started 29 Audubon Society chapters here in Washington State and was instrumental in saving a lot of things here in Washington State. So that's she had a great sense of humor. Thank you for sharing that, Jerry. That's fantastic. There's Murray. Okay, the Franklin River. Thank you. Gordon below the Franklin River. Thank you, Murray. That's the when I was talking earlier, the story of Prayer for This Land, the river in Tasmania that was blocked by John Seed and Bob Brown and a whole bunch of other folks. So thank you. How could I forget that? Yes, great to share that with you, Terry, because I think, well, yeah. I mean, Terry's parents were instrumental in saving the rainforest up there in northern rivers, New South Wales. And I don't know if they were up at the Daintree down at the Franklin. I forget. I was 14 when I first heard it. We met when you were 14. Oh, my God. At the Rainforest Roadshow in Lismore. Really? Really? That's incredible. That's lovely, Terry. Terry's also a songwriter and singer and performer. Terry Nicholson. You can see her name there. But you can find her on YouTube and Facebook. Listen to her beautiful music. I've done a bunch of shows over the years with Terry. Thank you, Timothy. Sounds great, mate. No, Timothy uses the word mate, even though he's born in the United States. But he's one of those worldly Americans that uses different languages like Australian. There's Kevin. Oh, Kevin. All right, nice to see you from Maine. Kevin just got on my mailing list recently. And was singing, I think, Cows and Guns in the open mic. That's very cool. All right. Oh, okay. Imam's got the book, the tree book. Burke, love you too, Burke. Are you out on the islands? There's Nam, Save the Trees. Scott, love that song. Have the book. Great, great. There's Rachel and Jean and Mary. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jerry. Peggy Sue. I think Peggy's out on Lopez. All those pretty things. Thank you, Peggy. Peggy's organized shows for me out there way back when. Thank you, Ella. Songs are prayers. 100% prayer. Yes, there's Charles. Yeah, it's fun telling the backstories because they're kind of wild stories sometimes. There's Karen, watching from Chicago. Oh my God, I think we actually have more snow than you for once. Okay. Karen set up a show for me way back when in Chicago area. Yeah, we had 15 inches of snow. The melt is on here. I might be able to finally get out of my driveway after 2 weeks. Okay. Happy birthday, trees from Nama. Okay. There's Rachel over in Ellensburg. I'll get there. I can drive to Ellensburg, so that's what's... I don't have to fly there, so I can get there. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you. From Maine and Sharon in Portland. Thank you. Okay. All right, very good. That wraps up our show for the evening. And I just want to say, one, thank you for being here. Thanks for singing along. Thank you for kind comments. Thanks for sharing this with your friends. It's here in the Northern Hemisphere. It's pretty serious winter. There's lots of serious things going on. We need our communities like we've never needed them before. And there's nothing more valuable than your community. And we need to put effort into that, as we work to protect our environment, as we work to protect our democracy, as we take care of each other during challenging times, taking care of our sick relatives and neighbors. It's a time where all over the world, people are shopping for each other, and they're cooking for each other, and they're looking out for each other, and we all, when we're under a bit of stress, in challenging times, it can be easy to maybe lose our temper sometimes and not say what we mean and be a little harsh when we didn't mean to. So it's important to remember that and to be patient with each other, especially within families and close friends. Just remember when someone's being a little odd or harsh, maybe think about what they're going through, give them a little time, send them a little love. But it's all about community. It's all about when we got lots of snow, if you got elders nearby, making sure their heat's working, that their pipes aren't freezing, that they're getting their food. Here in Bellingham, a lot of us have been snowed in since Christmas Eve. We're going to have, hopefully maybe one day, I don't know if I can get out of my driveway tomorrow, but we're going to have one day of melt, and then we're supposed to get 5 to 8 inches of snow again on Wednesday. It's almost, it's like, I grew up in upstate New York, so it's kind of a normal winter to me, but it's not normal around here. But just take care of each other. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Give yourself a nice hug. My friend Brenda over in Australia reminded me to do this. If there's no one there, like some of us are living on our own and don't have someone there to give us the hug, she says, you give yourself a hug. You're a good boy. Give yourself a hug. Got to have a sense of humor. And if you're living with someone, give them a hug. Give them a hug. We can't have enough hugs. All right. Sweet dreams, everybody. Happy 2022. And we'll see you next time. And I'm scheduled. I actually have a scheduled date to sing for you all on this Thursday at 7 p.m. Seattle time, 7 p.m. West Coast time, the United States. I can't do all the math for Sydney and London and Johannesburg and Delhi right now, but y'all can figure it out. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm Dana Lyons. Good night.